Welcome back to Creepcast.
Hey. Hello there. How are you? Ready for a story today? I hope it's a good one because it's coming from one of you. That's right, we're reading a Creepcast fan story original called There's Drumming in the Clouds. This is kind of cool. I saw this story on the subreddit, but then also I just looked towards the end of the author's note and it just said that shout out to the homies for the support and help the feedback, which was Lime Time Live, Rude 3, Dude 3, Tenors 1, Imperialative, Imperialative is the author we read. So I thought that was fun. I was like, oh, cool. He helped.
Imperial Invective. Yeah.
And I thought that was kind of cool. So I thought to myself, Isaiah, why don't we just read this one today? Let's read a story from the homies, a new story. We're going around talking about some stories we were going to read. We were going to talk about one. I don't know if we're going to talk about it. We're not going to talk about it.
What are you talking about?
No, we're not going to talk about it.
What are you talking about?
You know.
I don't know what you're talking about.
You know, the one we were going to do, but we're like, yeah, better not.
In our subreddit?
No. But on our conversation we had before recording.
The
It would be silly if you read that one.
Yeah. I understand. I see what you're saying now. I thought you were talking about the fact that one of the most upvoted fan made stories in r/Creepcast is a fanfic of us.
I don't know how I feel about reading fan fiction. Granted, it is a horror story. It's a horror for me, at least, and
it would be.
I don't know if I could. I feel like it's going to lean sexually, and I don't want someone to write that. I don't want to find out.
Oh, it's not gonna lean. It'll fall into it. there ain't gonna be no lean.
That's true. I guess it really isn't a little. It isn't the side of a table you can lean into. It's more of a giant pit of despair, for sure, that you're going to fall into. Regardless, today this seems kind of fun. There's something drumming in the clouds. I don't know. It's a catchy title. I'm excited to read it, and it's being something that came out. Apparently, he wrote it 3 months ago. Or here, this is your part. Sorry.
No, it's okay. You can do my job. I don't care. I'm getting paid the same either way. So
go ahead.
I ain't in the union. So this story is written by Pitiful Scream 97. He seems to talk a lot in r/Creepcast. He also has a couple other stories over on his Creepypasta account, including I Sleep With My Window Closed Now and 1,000 Morning People. Potentially an up-and-comer, potentially someone who's cool. I'm not seeing, it seems like he started writing this year, or at least started publishing this year. So that's pretty cool to see. And looking at the comments on his post on r/Creepcast, you guys have been really supportive of this story, which is awesome. So we figure this might be a good one to read. And if it's awful and terrible, well, this may be the last thing he ever posts, given how we react to it. So we'll find out.
No. I'm just excited that people are. This is a continuous debate that we've been having. Is we've gotten so when we announced that we were like, just post your stories on our subreddit. There's so many submissions. I thought like, oh yeah, it'll be big at first, or people will post a lot. You know, when we first announced it, it has not stopped. People write all the time. I fucking love how much people write. So much so that I'm wondering if we should just make like a new subreddit just for stories. That way people, it's all stories. That way people can also meme and stuff. I don't know. All I know is it's exciting to see people come in and write and use this as a time to experiment and find their voice creatively. And I enjoy it. I think it's cool.
Yeah, I think it's really awesome to see people coming forward and saying stuff like, oh, well, I watched the podcast, and I post some of these things online, and now they're like writing more, and people are giving them feedback and stuff like that. That is very inspiring, and we appreciate you all. That's really neat.
Our cold, dead heart.
Yes, your cold, dead heart. I was already warm, but it's neither here nor there, really. Okay. Anyway, we're gonna go ahead and get into his story, I guess, unless there's anything else you have to.
No. I'm stoked. About. I think that I'm excited to jump in.
You have to say thank you. No, you were talking about taking my job by describing the author. You know, I have to say thank you to the people.
Thank you guys for listening on Spotify or this podcast. And hopefully if you're, listening to those, consider giving us a good review. It does help us out a lot. And also thank you to our beautiful patrons who support our channel and had to listen through the last story that we read. That was like pulling teeth. Definitely a crash out episode, so we apologize for that. Even though some people like it, they're sadists. I don't know. Go ahead, Isaiah.
Which was the last one we
The
did?
hell I wrote.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah, see, you hate those. They're my most memorable. I love those. All right, well, without further ado, we're gonna get into it. There's drumming in the clouds. Phase 1, the arrival. The photograph arrived without explanation. It showed some kind of mass, dark gray and pulsating. It was hovering far above the North Atlantic. It resembled a cyclone, but there was no eye of this storm, no rotation, just layers, like folds of gauze stacked and suspended. The sky around it was eerily clear. That was the first impossibility. Dr. Married Finn saw the image at 6:32 a.m. It was forwarded to her personal account from an encrypted ministry server. The subject line read only, "Come in immediately." Dr. Finn arrived at the North Strain Climate Monitoring Facility before sunrise. The conference room was already full, unusual for a Wednesday. Technicians, military liaisons, 2 senior meteorologists, and a man from the Department of Anomalous Phenomena, a department that officially didn't exist. No one spoke for the first 10 minutes. They just stared at the image projected on the main wall, still frame from a weather satellite feed.
I've never seen a static formation at this altitude before.
Married said, her eyes locked on the impossible image.
How high is this exactly? 68 kilometers.
One of the technicians said, adjusting his glasses. She blinked.
Is this fair? Correct. This doesn't make any sense.
She murmured to herself, irritated by confusion. One of the meteorologists stood.
It's your job to make sense of it, Dr. Finn. When was it first reported?
She responded, ignoring the man's tone.
It's been there for 6 hours. It's
The military liaison cleared his throat.
spotted by a satellite. Cross-checked by satellites. We thought it might be a weapon debris. It's not. Civil flights are already diverting. Maritime routes too.
On the monitors, numbers scrolled. Temperatures, wind speeds, strange depth readings. The mass wasn't moving. Winds tore it at hundreds of kilometers per hour, but it didn't rotate, didn't shear, just remained, impossibly still.
This is what every meteorologist deals with every day. Like my local meteorologist, when I'm watching the weather in the morning, this is them in the morning, frantically running around.
They get called into like a government facility and they're like, "What is that?" And it's just like clearly a cloud. What is
What
that?
the hell is this? What is this? That's what they keep saying back over and over again.
There's generals in the room like, "What don't make sense of this? What am I looking at?" It's like, well, it's a cumulonimbus, I think.
God damn it.
Can we kill it? Does it bleed?
Does it bleed? I desperately want the meteorologist, like in my mind now, this isn't a government facility. It's Channel 9 News, and it's like a local weatherman.
Yeah, it's like your local W whatever weather station.
Is there going to be? Yeah, exactly. Is it going to be a cumulonimbus cloud?
It's just like it's just moving with all the other clouds. It's like, oh my god, it's getting closer.
Jesus Christ!
I do like the idea of like, what a movie did this where there's a cloud.
I'm the one that.
No.
Yeah, little alien in the cloud.
How like they the first thing they see is the cloud isn't moving with all the other clouds. It just sets in spot. Kind of reminds me of that. Footage taken by a commercial pilot. A band of dark mist stretching from horizon to horizon, bloated and heavy, blotting out the sun. It covered a region roughly the size of North America and appeared to be growing. Oh, well, in my head, I was like, I can see it taking a while for one cloud to be spotted, but it's the size of a continent.
God.
You know what? I take it back. If the general's right. If you walked into a weather station, they're like, it's just a cloud. It'd be like, no, it's not. The shadow the cloud cast was immeasurable. On a clear day, the light would dim like a solar eclipse. The sky turned to dull gray. Shadows vanished and birds fell silent. Some areas experienced perpetual dusk. The night, posing in its darkness. People on the ground began reporting changes, strange static humming in their teeth, tension headaches, and a persistent low pressure in the ears. Online forums exploded. Hashtag the cloud trended within the hour. Dr. Finn kept working. She had trained herself to remain clinical, methodical. Still, she couldn't shake the feeling that the air in the lab had gone stale. Something was very wrong, and not a single thinking brain on the planet could provide answers to the impossible situation. At exactly 9:43 p.m. GMT, the first sound was recorded. A low frequency thump, thump. Deep, distant. Then another, 2 hours apart. Then again, and again.
Thunder.
Someone offered, but the radar was clear. Not a single weather system for 1,000 kilometers. The thump came again, only minutes apart. It's not where the story's going, I know, but it's funny going off of what you said earlier about it being just a normal cloud. It like very clearly it has a thunder noise, and the general's like, "What is that? What is that?"
Yeah. War drums. Call the army.
They have a band. There's a band in there.
Led Zeppelin's in the clouds.
God forbid he witnesses a lightning strike. It's shooting at us. Mary sat perfectly still, headset on, watching the sound wave roll across the monitor. It wasn't thunder. It wasn't sound. It was airborne. High above our heads.
Jesus.
Whispered a young intern nearby.
It's coming from inside the cloud.
By midnight.
I feel like I've been fucking. I feel like
I need to get it out of my system.
I've been fucking this up.
Me and you just like said the same lines on top of each other for like 3 minutes.
I can't feel like you fuck it up.
What's cracking me up is now it's stuck in my head the idea it's just a normal cloud. And it's like it's coming from inside the cloud. And the meteorologist is like, yeah, that's how thunder comes from the cloud. Why is it talking? By midnight, it had settled into a rhythm. A slow, deep drumming sound. Thump, thump, thump,
It's
thump.
fucking hot out there this
Regular,
afternoon, so
relentless,
don't test my
as though
patience.
Something far above was knocking from the other side of the sky. Almost sounds like a heartbeat. With like the
Oh, look. You better not fuck
Project
this up,
Cerberus
or
Veil.
I'll cut your
Field journal
goddamn
entry.
throat.
Dr. Marie Finn, lead meteorologist. Classified, level Omega. Day 1, 11:42 p.m. GMT.
The cloud remains stationary. Its scale is beyond measurement. Its thick fog goes far beyond our atmosphere. The sound began tonight. Pulses, low frequency. Origin unknown, but triangulated within the formation. The collection of all data is incomplete at this time. Personal note, it is not weather. It is not man-made. We don't know what this is. I would, I kind of think it almost seems like a giant, like whenever there's like a nuclear explosion, it almost seems like something like that, where it's like it's this giant, ominous, basically just smoke cloud for God knows how long. But for something to be that stationary and moving, that'd be fucked up.
Well, I made the note comparison earlier, but now after the heartbeat thing, it might actually be like a creature in there.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, I mean, you'd have to. I think that's where it's leaning, but it'd be kind of sick. I love the
You
idea
gonna buy
of
some
something
food
floating
or just
too. Like
stand
that's what I
there
loved
like a
about Nope.
goddamn
This
idiot?
idea of something floating there, but you just don't know what it is, or it's just this cloud formation,
Yeah.
totally in disguise.
Did you ever read at the Mountains of Madness?
No, but I know of it. Or no, I've read on the Mountains of Madness.
You know how at the end of the story they fly away
Be
in the
careful
plane
out
and
there.
the giant
You wouldn't
like
wanna
sail
get hurt.
thing comes out of the city.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah.
It's kind of like a stereotypical like Lovecraft creature, but from his description of it, it's like a ship, almost like a living, breathing ship the size of a
Yeah.
city. I kind of have an image of that, like a I forget the author's name, the guy that did the old depictions of hell with like all the weird abstract images of different demons and stuff like that, but like a creature out of one of those paintings, like something not of our planet hiding in the cloud. Or maybe the cloud itself is the thing. That's just what the creature looks like. I'm assuming it's a creature. It could also just be a presence or a ship or something like that. Who knows? Phase 2, the sound of God. By morning, the drumming was heard across the entire northern hemisphere. It was no longer limited to the monitoring stations. People across Europe, the eastern United States, parts of Western Africa, and even as far as Argentina reported hearing it. Not just through the air, through their bodies. Meteorologist is like, again, that's how hearing works. You hear it in your body. In the base of the skull, the hollows of the chest are behind the eyes. The sound was felt just as much as it was heard. Entire cities reported the vibrations. Hospitals began to fill, not from injury, from confusion. Migraines, tinnitus, bleeding noses. Some people began to lose their minds, tormented by a sound they couldn't escape. Others seemed unfazed by the strange phenomenon. A woman in Bordeaux began convulsing and screamed,
I hear it. I hear it. I hear it.
before falling unconscious. At 1:06 a.m. GMT, Dr. Finn watched from the roof of the North Strand facility as the light changed again. Not dimmer, not quite. She struggled to name it. Shadows had lost their edges. Buildings looked slightly flattened. Colors were muted, like the world had been submerged in water. She raised her hand and stared at her palm. Veins like rivers on a map. Her skin was paler than before. Hairs on her arms stood up. The drumming continued.
Dr. Finn,
The man from the Department of Anomalous Phenomena pushed through the steel door behind her.
my name is Jonas, ma'am. I've been meaning to speak with you.
He paused beside her, eyes turned upward to the dreadful cloud. Swallowed the entire skyline, hiding stars and moon alike.
Quite the view. What can I do for you, Jonas?
She asked, her tone clipped, unwilling to indulge small talk. I mean, to be fair.
Well, yeah, quite the view. It's like, why don't you fuck off? And what? Do you not see this thing coming towards us?
Exactly. It's like
That would piss me off so
this
bad.
This thing's like eating. It's consuming the top half of the planet. Everyone can hear it in their skull. And then a guy from the Department of Anomalous Phenomena kicks open the door and says, "I need to talk with you." Quite the view up here.
Quite the view. Might as well make it a little bit of lighthearted. The what department is he in? Oh, anomalous. I don't know why. I thought you said McDonald's phenomena. What the fuck? Anyways. Sorry. Obese brain. Yeah, Ronald McDonald comes in.
Yeah, the secret.
Yeah, the only way to stop this cloud is to give it a cheeseburger.
That would actually be way more terrifying
Oh my God,
if
yeah.
she's on top of the roof and she turns around and through the little wire glass you can just see Ronald.
Yeah. Quite the view up here.
I need to talk to you.
Why does he sound
Just
like
kicks
Mickey
open the-
Mouse?
What does Ronald sound like? Does he have a voice?
I don't think he's ever
Does
spoke.
he have a voice?
I think that if he speaks, his voice is so low that if he speaks, children shit their pants. That's what happens. So he has to remain quiet.
What, does he ever
looks at people
speak
like
in
this.
the media?
That hamburglar wishes everything he touches would turn to McDonald's cheeseburger.
What would Ronald have to say?
I swear I've heard him
God
speak.
damn, this burger's tasty. That's what Ronald McDonald's cat
No,
says.
no, I've heard in every video. He's just smiling and like
Yeah.
a mime.
He's like, dude, there's like one. I feel like there was like an ad campaign where he's like just giving the shush. Thing. I was like, what the fuck? Is this? Yeah, I know, right?
What the? I don't like that.
You're in the play
This is
place.
between us now,
You're in the play
Billy.
place crawling around. You're in the play place crawling. Also, I love the Rock reference. The
That's where I've heard that. Okay, that's where the
what you're
voice.
thinking of.
That's it.
You're
That's
thinking of
that's
the
what it
Rock
is. Yeah.
video where he's like,
What you eating there, Billy?
"What you eating there,
Is that
Billy?
Hungry Jack's, Billy?
What the fuck? Don't tell me to fucking calm down." Starts beating the shit out of the kid. That's so good.
What you eating there, Billy?
Yeah,
Got something to say.
obviously it's not McDonald's. All right. Even though I kind of wish it was. Note for the author. Maybe include Ronald McDonald.
Note for the author should have had Ronald McDonald
Yeah.
show up on top, but specifically the Rock version of Ronald McDonald.
Yeah, Jonah enters the room and sets down his Blu-ray copy of The Founder on the table. You're gonna want to see this.
This will tell us everything. Ugh,
right.
Okay.
What can I do for you, Jonas?
She asked, her tone clipped, unwilling to indulge small talk.
You know who I work for?
The clown. Okay. She nodded once, offering him a cigarette from a nearby empty pack.
No, thanks. I quit. Fresh air for me.
Can this guy get to the point?
Jonas, I'm gonna need Jonas. I mean, it's been two. I'm gonna say this. It's been 2 lines, but it's felt like 2 years. All right, Jonas, you
Our
have
fault a
got to
little
get
bit,
to the
but,
point, please.
The cloud is getting closer.
Yeah,
No
exactly.
thanks, I quit.
Well, unfortunately for me, right, it was just a giant cloud.
He laughed awkwardly as he put in with her smoke.
They're relocating me. Opposite side of the world. A counterpart facility in the southern hemisphere. Simultaneous readings for data sets. Honestly, feels like I'm just being moved out of the blast zone.
The guy's like, hey, so they're sending me to South America. It's kind of like an kind of.
There's all kinds of double of every animal and stuff, and I don't know. It seems kind of weird. Yeah, the guy he really likes lemurs. I don't know if I like him.
We paused for a moment.
If this thing is global, if it keeps growing, we need to know if it behaves the same way everywhere. Otherwise, we're flying blind.
Ben studied him. The shadows across his face blurred and trembling in the wrong light.
So you'll be chasing the other horizon? Something like that.
He gave a grin smile, but his eyes stayed locked on the sky.
I'll send you everything I find. And maybe between the two of us, we'll make sense of it.
Her gaze lingered on him a little longer than she intended. Then he looked back to the cloud.
Maybe.
Drumming echoed.
It almost seems like it's a giant heartbeat. It's gonna be a giant heartbeat.
That's what I think it is.
I wish it was just Neil Peart in the clouds doing drum solos.
My God.
I love the idea because with some of these videos, it's like, oh, it would be funny if the author watched this episode, but we know the author's gonna watch this episode, right? So they're like, Hunter and Isaiah are reading my story. Wow! And then they get on, and it's like, oh yeah, there's like a guy in the.
That's what you have to say.
Trained reaction content.
That's okay. First off, I just want to say the story's kicking off. If you haven't expected this by now, then you have not been listening to the show very long. What happens is you start off, you joke around, and then as you keep reading, you get more and more bought in. It's just pounds around, right? I'm still bought in. I still like the giant idea of a huge cloud with a mysterious, I'm guessing, creature inside of it. All right? And then you have a little moment with Jonas that makes you have a little McDonald's meme moment. Why not? This is just how it happens.
What is the cloud experience?
If the cloud was Jonas, I would get on my knees and I would start bowing to this story. I would say, God bless you. And that's when Ronald comes out. Ronald's like,
During that entire.
Good.
Go ahead. No. I was just gonna say during that entire dialogue segment, I was thinking that it was Ronald the whole time, and I didn't say anything. I was being good.
We can, for us, and not for the audience. Audience, you don't listen to this. For us, if Jonas comes back, it's Ronald. That's just between us. It would be very funny though if Grimace was in the clouds and Ronald sat there and he's like, "You have to shoot it down. You have no idea what he's going to do to the burger supply chain on the planet Earth if we don't kill him now."
Okay. I want to take a quick moment to thank today's sponsor, Rocket Money. It's easy to spend money, but the hard part is to not spend as much money, especially when you have recurring bills or subscriptions you've completely forgotten about. And I know that budgeting isn't easy, but thankfully Rocket Money is here to help. Rocket Money is an easy-to-use app that helps you save more and manage your money better. With Rocket Money, you can create a customized budget in seconds, and the app keeps track of your spending in certain categories and even sends you notifications based on your spending. But that's not all. Rocket Money helps automate your savings. We all need to save money, so why not let someone else do it for you? Rocket Money automatically analyzes your accounts to determine the optimal time to save so you reach your goals faster, which between getting a new house and paying editors, things like this really take a load off. And on top of that, Rocket Money can do things like help you lower your bills or cancel unwanted subscriptions. It's the all-in-one app that's here to help you. Whether you're planning on buying a house or going back to school or just planning for the future, Rocket Money has you covered. So take control of your finances today and head to rocketmoney.com/creepcast to get started for free. That is right, for free. From there, you can unlock even more features when you sign up for premium, but for now, all you have to do is head to the link in the description or scan the QR code at rocketmoney.com/creepcast to get in on their incredible offer today. Thank you to Rocket Money for sponsoring the show. Their link will be in the description. We are now back to the episode.
This episode is sponsored by Babbel. Everything we do on this channel is about sharing stories. We want to share our fears, our triumphs, and our pain. And in a similar way, sharing a language with someone is like that. Today's sponsor, Babbel, is an award-winning app that makes learning a new language simple and effective. With Babbel, you can learn a variety of languages, including Turkish, Russian, Dutch, Italian, and German. And their courses are created by over 200 language experts. It's like having a private tutor in your back pocket, and I love that. My favorite part about Babbel is the real-time feedback you get as you are trying to learn. They have markers that track your progress so that you can stay motivated and feel your improvement as you move along. Babbel has over 25 million subscriptions sold and over 1.6 million 5-star App Store ratings. Definitely not Indian people on computers. After using Babbel, I've been able to say a few things. For instance, Ich bin
How did
Hunter,
you get in here?
Ein Glas Whiskey
Aren't we
Bitter,
closed yet?
Danke, Wo ist die Toilettour? Babbel's flexibility learning program lets you start real conversations in as little as 3 weeks. To start speaking a new language in 3 weeks,
word of
click the link
advice.
in the description
Next
or go
time,
to
bathe before coming to a
babbel.com/creepcast
job
and you'll get up to
interview.
55% off your subscription. That's up to 55% off your subscription when you use our link and join the millions of Babbel learners breaking the language barrier every day at babbel.com/creepcast. Hey, danke to Babbel for sponsoring this video. Back to the episode.
Neither of them spoke after that. The emergency broadcast systems went live just after noon. News anchors reported statements. No questions, no speculation.
Authorities are aware of the atmospheric anomaly currently positioned over the Atlantic. Remain indoors, limit direct observation of the phenomenon. Further information will be provided when available.
Definitely a nice little, also, I was going to say, and I know it's kind of becoming a bit of a meme. I don't appreciate it, but it is very Lovecraftian. If you look at the cloud, you pretty much go fucking
This
insane.
one is Lovecraftian. You can say that without it being a meme, I think. It's very clearly like something that big, something indescribable, you know, kind of thing.
Looking at a beautiful, fluffy cloud and going insane from it really is that's fucked up. To not be able to look at a beautiful sky. If you look up, you basically go insane. That's kind of crazy.
That was pretty hot. That does get my goat, so to speak.
Are you chubbed up in the pants?
I'm not answering that, and no.
Yes.
The feeds cut off after 90 seconds. Black screens revealed the concerned reactions of the population. Social media boiled over with conspiracy, prophecy, and fear. Viral clip from New York showed commuters frozen in the middle of an intersection, all exiting their vehicles, all staring up at once. Dozens of them, like they'd heard a voice. Then some began to cry. Others fell to their knees in prayer, all united by the oppression of complete and total helplessness. Government helicopters swarmed beneath the cloud, flies drawn to the stench of death. Another clip from a Nigerian cargo ship showed the cloud expanding, spilling outward from tendrils. Vast sections of dark mist swirled through the cloud, like black sand in clear water. The crew's final log simply read, "God has returned to us." At 2:42 a.m., Dr. Finn stepped into the soundproof chamber to listen to the unfiltered live feed. She sat in the center of the small white room, strapped on the over-ear monitors, and listened. There it was. Drumming from the cloud. Clearer now. More spacious. More thoughtful. There were pauses between the beats. Pauses long enough to create the illusion it had stopped. More came again. She felt it deep in her ribcage, her heart sinking to the aerial phenomenon. The drumming had become a presence, not sound alone, but a tidal force pressing against the earth. Every beat made her stomach lurch as if something vast was stirring within the planet itself.
I do love this idea of like some kind of creature coming into our atmosphere without us knowing, and like formulating or forming, like almost like the cloud. Like if the creature is able to like exude like a gas or something and cover itself, like camouflage itself in that way, and it's like growing, like it's pretty much using it as a defense mechanism until it can like fully unravel. That's pretty sweet. Like, that's kind of a cool little way of blending in with like natural, with like I guess your surroundings. Like instead of like a gecko or something getting on like a branch or whatever, and then blending in with, or chameleon or whatever, blending in with its surroundings. It would just be that, but
Yes.
just with the sky, pretty much.
Yeah, it's creepy to imagine that it just keeps getting bigger and bigger under our, like, it went from nothing to just being the size of North America in one day, almost instantly. Like you didn't see it arrive or anything like that. What? They haven't mentioned anyone trying to fly into it or anything yet, right? Okay,
I think they've just been flying around it, if I remember, or they've just been like flying near it. I don't know. I don't think they've gone inside.
So
yet.
real world.
Yeah.
How long on a clock before the United States military throws some kind of drone into it?
I would
Just hits that thing with Hellstorm missiles.
I don't know if they would do missiles, but they'd at least be like Amazon. Drones and see if we can make sense of this thing.
Yeah. Sure.
It would be the most disturbing thing if you flew a drone into a cloud that you would see.
I think Grimace. I think that'd be pretty. Grimace was the size of North America. That'd be pretty alarming. I think.
That would be pretty alarming. You're not wrong. You are not wrong.
Did you see that footage that went around of that? I think it was over the Persian Gulf or something. One of the waterways around Middle East. There was a UFO that was not like an alien, like the traditional sense of the word. Like we just didn't know what kind of aerial vehicle it was. It was like floating over the water, and U.S. government sees it, instantly shoots a Hellstorm missile at it, and it just tinks off it, like it hits it, and just like the missile spins off the side.
That's not very.
And it keeps going.
That must made that probably let every other nation be like, dude, their fucking missiles suck. We should just fucking we should go in there and just fuck them up. The missiles suck. And they're like, no, that thing's gotta be like an alien or something. This is like an RC.
That's definitely like an alien, dude. That's
RC
definitely
boat powered thing, whatever. Little toy boat.
I think it's funny to imagine that there's just a terrified Russian MiG pilot in there, like that got a 1 in a million, like the missile hit just right off one piece of metal to deflect, and he's in there like, oh my gosh! Can you believe that?
Yeah, Gorbadosh!
I was talking to a friend of mine who's in does like a lot of the Secret Squirrel letter agency stuff, and he said that he can talk about that one since it leaked and it's public info now, but he said when that came out, like the video of it and everything, every high-ranking agency was freaking out over it. They're like, who is this? What is this? How do we kill it? We need a bigger weapon, blah, blah, blah. So, again, even funnier to imagine it's just a really scared Russian pilot that somehow survived.
Also, to answer my own question, too, the scariest thing that I think could be in a giant cloud, if you were flying a drone into a giant cloud, if I saw a giant... so the cloud is the size of North America, right?
Right.
If it was a giant Italian-American slurping spaghetti, that would be that might be my greatest fear.
So by Italian-American, do you mean like hey, I'm walking here kind, or like Mamma Mia?
It could be anything. Just an Italian-American, sweating profusely, sweating olive oil. Everyone's like, it's raining olive oil. It's because that's the sweat for the Italian-American guy. He's slurping it up.
Do you have some beef with Italians?
No, definitely not.
No, what gives you that idea? No.
So you fly the drone to the cloud, and he's sitting there. He's like, he looks because he's huge, right? He sits there.
Is he? Yeah, okay. That's gonna be my next question. So he's the size of North America.
His giant nose turns towards the camera. He looks at it and he does. He's pretty good. He's good.
That was okay. That wasn't an Italian accent.
He's pretty good. He slurred on the spaghetti. He's pretty good. You're like, what are those sounds?
What are you talking about?
What?
Also, after the no specification, I don't think you can say you don't have a problem with the
I don't, man. Not at all.
Which also, what voice is that? It's not an Italian accent.
That's a classic
at all.
Italian American accent, dude.
No. What? Okay. All right.
More
Okay. I should. Did you ask that question originally so you could set up an Italian joke?
No,
Okay.
I don't use minor situations like this to further prove that I dislike Italian Americans. That's not
You don't
what
have
I'm
to
about.
prove anything to me, buddy. You ain't got to prove it. I know. All right.
That's not what I'm about.
Okay. Hey, that's not what I'm about.
He's a pretty good.
Okay.
And then he and then he has the thing. He has a giant. He's a giant pepper cracker, whatever. He does more pepper. And the people are screaming because they're getting pepper in their eyes. He does more pepper. Tell me when to stop. Tell me when to stop. Is what he says, just like that.
Who is this an attack on? Who are you targeting with this?
You run the drone to his eye. He frowns at you. He's wiping his hand. He's wiping his hand on his eye. He quickly gets his bowl of spaghetti back.
Good one, man.
It's a long day.
It's okay, buddy. We'll get through this. Me and you, it's all right. We'll get there. We'll get there. Then it shifted. The sound broke free of rhythm. A single, elongated groan, wet and guttural, poured from the cloud. It rippled across.
Slurp about spaghetti, dude. All right, good.
It rippled across the atmosphere like thick, viscous. I psyched myself out waiting on you to say that. I started reading. It rippled across the atmosphere like thick, viscous liquid, sloshing in every crack that felt the ground itself vibrating under the sonic pressure. It was enormous, impossible, something malignant, something so vast that its moan would shake the sky. The pitch was almost beyond hearing, subsonic yet tortuously present, reverberating with the weight of mass it could not comprehend. The groan slipping, sinew stretching, incredibly yawning across the heavens. Her chest heaved, her stomach twisted, her fingers tingled with the pressure of sound. Her mind screamed against comprehension. The noise was alive, shapeless yet aware. It hung in the room like a storm that could devour everything, pausing only to let its presence further into her bones before dragging itself back to its sharp, shuddering growl. She took the headphones off, trembling, sweat prickling across her skin. The chamber was silent, not really. The sound lingered, quivered on the ridge and slow, frothing through her blood.
Voice.
The intern monitoring the signal turned to her. pale as light.
No, it wasn't a voice. Then what was it?
He stood slowly and left the room without speaking another word. The Drummond resumed as normal. Project Cerberus veiled. Field journal entry. Dr. Married Finn, lead meteorologist. Classified level Omega. Day 2, 3:17 a.m. GMT.
Cloud remains stationary. Estimated diameter now exceeds 5,000 kilometers. Audio patterns continue. Rhythmic, biological, possibly vocal. Global symptoms reported. Neurological disruption, auditory hallucinations, emotional volatility, mass hysteria. Thousands of casualties across different countries. Burst eardrums and internal hemorrhaging. Public unrest increasing. Governmental control deteriorating. A plan was initiated to obtain a visual of the sound source. Jonas team ran 3 LiDAR sweeps from orbit, filming U-2 spy plane, and from a modified weather balloon. Orbital scan. Returned no depth readings. Not zero, just nothing. As if struck open air for 1,000 meters, then refused to return. Plane scan. Logged 1 frame of internal structure. Looked like bone. A moment later, the image glitched, reloaded, and showed a perfect sphere the size of a mountain in static. What?
Can we run that back one more time, plane? Can you get another picture, please?
Looked like bone. It glitched. Nothing was there, so we just said, fuck it. Never mind. Balloon.
Well, it kind of looked like blown, but then the picture finished, and it was actually just a sphere the size of a mountain, which is perfectly reasonable given the condition.
Balloon feed. 20 minutes of telemetry before loss of signal. Internal layers visible. Fibrous. Twitching.
Once again, I'm gonna need some clarification on that, Mr. Balloon.
Final frame. A shape in the center. Spindled. Bowl-like. Covered in Parmesan and marinara. Spindled. Elongated. Symmetrical. But wrong. Our analysts ran it through the edge detection software. The results were disturbing. They resembled a face, but only when you didn't look at it directly. A convergence of lines, folds, and textures that formed something odd. One technician collapsed during image review. She said she felt like it could see her. I saw it too, just once. It didn't scare me, it just made me feel ashamed. We've locked the files. Project code Cerberus Veil. Access, visual AI system only. No human review permitted. Effective immediately. Personal note, Jonas agrees. There's something in there. He's gone south into the dark. I don't know when I'll see him again. I think it's stretching.
I like that entry a lot. I like the mention that it's like fibrous in there. Like they get close to it, and it looks like these long, like veins and arteries and stuff. Something I did think about when I look at it, I feel ashamed. And the mention of it looks like a face, but when you don't look directly at it, I don't think this is where the story's going. But this would be a cool way to write like the appearance of an angel, right, on Earth, because they can be theoretically any size, right? And they have like unlimited powers. So perhaps when like Judgment Day comes and they come to destroy the Earth, they're the size of the planet, right? This giant structure that stretches over it. I don't think that's where it's going, but that could be a cool interpretation. It could also tie into like the boat off Africa saying God has returned and stuff like that.
Yeah.
All right, phase 3, the arms. Dr. Finn jolted from her sleep, her phone vibrating on the steel table. She had passed out at her desk. Overworked and exhausted, she grabbed her phone. The screen read Jonas, DAP. Jonas's voice came sharp, urgent.
Are you seeing the last readings?
Her pulse quickened. Cloud had been behaving differently. The drumming was heavy, more insistent. Thump, 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 thump.
I'm watching. It's intense, but nothing new yet.
Thump, 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 thump.
Intense? Intense doesn't cover this. There's subsonic pulses. Every monitoring station on every continent, they're aligning. The other side of the cloud, it's splitting along a straight vertical seam. The satellites
Thump, 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 thump.
like it's preparing to open, and I don't mean metaphorically.
Voice dropped, urgent.
There's a pattern in the pulses. Rhythm's building. I don't know how else to say this. Drumming, it's a fucking heartbeat, Married. It's getting faster. You need to be ready. Something is happening. Whatever you do, don't go outside. Whatever
melted in her chest before she could reply. A vibration deep in bone and blood. The wet resonance of something enormous stirring.
Jonas,
Stay calm. Lock yourself in. Go to the bunker now. The monitors are there. You can observe. Whatever you do not fucking step outside.
Then the line went dead. A heartbeat later, across the northern hemisphere, a vertical fracture tore through the sky like a wound. It widened with deliberate slowness. Layers of mist peeled back in fleshy folds. Shadows deepened, bending the space around it. A deafening, sticky squelch like tearing flesh echoed across the hemisphere. Behind it was a darkness that seemed to breathe, vast and unfathomable. Darkness that bent perception. No camera could capture it. No eye on the planet was built to perceive such a biblical event. Without tremor or trumpet, the cloud opened. I like that without tremor or trumpet. That calls back to the whole. What lay inside was not real, but unknowable. Some said it was mental. Some said it was a wound. And from it came the sound again. Louder now. Clearer. Something wet and vast and pulsing. Something impossible. Not breathing. Mawing. Across the world, people looked up in unison. Some screamed, some dropped to their knees, others stood still and watched, transfixed, as the first of the arms descended. Long, tapering limbs like serpents, oily, black and glistening, emerging from the wound in the sky in slow spirals. Some were miles long, others kilometers. They swam through the air like they were underwater, languid, elegant, hypnotic. Thousands of them. Tens of thousands. They moved across the sky like a nest of worms poured through a funnel, coiling, searching. One by one, the arms reached down into the earth, slithering through cities, across oceans, over fields. It didn't take long for the first to be taken. A man in Tokyo screamed as an arm squirmed its way around him. His fingers dug into the strange meat as the grip around his waist tightened, pulling him skyward. His cries split the morning air. In a European city, a young couple ran through the streets hand in hand. The woman tripped, an arm twisted around her ankle. Her boyfriend tried to pull her free. The arm retracted, twisting her upward with such force that his hands tore away from hers. He fell back on his bag, begging, only for the arm to return for him. This is sick, dude. Like the giant shape, these hands come down and grab. This feels very Edo. If it reminds me of Hellstar Remina, the one about the planet that like shows up and people like panic, trying to sacrifice someone to it.
the Doomsday Planet.
Yeah. I love the idea of like a rapture almost, but it's like the arms of this entity swallow you up. Tons of towards its mouth. In a Venezuelan village, a mother was snatched from her courtyard. Her young daughter clung desperately to her leg, screaming for her mother to come back home. Her tiny hands gripped her mother's ankle in desperation to save her. The child's fingers could not hold. When they looked up, hundreds of feet in a matter of seconds. Her mother's body ascended, twisting elegantly like a dancer in midair. But she did not forgive the child. She fell, limbs flailing, hair whipping across her face, gliding with the unforgiving earth. A sickening thump echoed across the village. Some were taken screaming, others laughed, lifted as if ascending into a dark ecstasy. Cultists, convinced of divine favor, threw themselves towards the putrid appendages, arms outstretched, their voices raised in hymns or chants of joy, begging for rapture. The arms took only a few of them with the same cold precision, pulling them upward as their ecstasy transformed into terror mid-flight. That's also a terrifying notion that as it's pulling you up, even people that wanted to be taken by it have this realization.
Yeah, post-nut clarity kind of thing.
Yeah, same
Well,
thing.
I guess in the way of like they're crazed and they think that they want this, and then as soon as it starts happening, they're like, "Oh shit, wait, never mind," kind of thing.
The view from halfway down. Across continents, people fought, clawed, resisted, but it was futile. Each arm performed the same ritual, one human at a time, spiraling upward towards the yawning darkness, then returning to the earth for its next selection. Cities became theaters of chaos, streets emptied in seconds, traffic snarled and stalled. Windows rattled under the roar of thousands being drawn skyward as humanity unleashed below. Parents clawed for their children. Children screamed for their parents. People tried to leap from balconies, bridges, and rooftops, only to be grabbed and they fall. The last moments a tangled dance of limbs and terror. In remote fields, farmers and herders watched as the arms swept across the horizon. Livestock scattered, terrified, the ground shaking under the thrumming resonance of the arms. One farmer caught a glimpse of his wife being lifted, screaming, crying his name. He tried to run. The arm retracted, and she was gone, leaving him kneeling in mud, screaming into the indifferent sky. Over the first 12 hours, over 40 million were gone, more than the entire population of Canada. By 48 hours, estimates climbed past 90 million. Entire nations gone. The elderly, the healthy, the sick, criminals, priests, lovers, the lost. The arms moved like a living tide, slow but inexorable, elegant in motion but grotesque in function. Each human was treated as a singular prize, twisted upward toward the infinite. Process horrifying and meticulous. Dr. Finn watched from the bunker as the monitors flared with the screams of abductions. Faces contorted in panic, joy, or disbelief. She could hear them through the cameras, screams and prayer that layered upon one another like a living symphony of terror. The arms paused briefly over cities, observing, coiling and uncoiling. Their thick veins pulsate, seemed to savor the fear. Then, chilling patience, they selected again, dragging the living toward the maw. Over the 57 hours, the Northern Hemisphere emptied in a relentless, mechanical, almost ritualistic harvest. Every arm returned repeatedly to the sky's wound, each human plucked and lifted, until the air was thick with echoes of terror and awe. By the final hour, Dr. Finn could only stare at the screens, numb. The arms paused at last, holding their harvest aloft for a long, silent moment, as if counting, observing, savoring. And then they began the slow, deliberate retreat, one by one, carrying their captives towards the unknowable darkness that had given them form. Over 4 hours, the sky closed and survivors emerged all sheltered. The world was like in silence. Only the sound of the drums went out. Project Cerberus Veil. Field Journal entry. Dr. Reed Finn, leading charges, classified level Omega. Day 3, level 11.
An aperture. As the diameter is 3,000 kilometers across. Merged thousands. Movement suggests intelligence, not random. Selection appeared non-biological. We can't predict it. I watched it be taken. God forgive me. Not everything. Interference, signal jamming, sonic weapons. Rush us in and move. It's all with the alpha. It didn't go off. It was just swallowed by the crowd. The arms are not affected. The world is hollow. The eyes are dead. Their screens froze, their faces are unforgiving. Even the saved recordings failed to convey the story of what happened. The arms, the screens, the silence that followed. Entire populations take the perception of the predator, the indifference of an animal. 100 million. I can't be certain. The Northern Hemisphere is a graveyard with no corpses in it. The sky is calm, deceptively calm. The wound has closed. The drum continues. Always beneath everything. The pulse that won't be ignored. Personal note. I don't know what to do next. Every theory, every model, every calculation is meaningless against this. We are observers of an event. We are its remnants. Survivors only in technical sense. In every other way, we are gone. There is nothing to fight, nothing to flee, only to record, only to bear witness. And I will, till the end. What else is there to do?
I really loved that segment. That was sick.
Yeah, that whole last
Hands coming down and pulling everyone up.
yeah, that was very engaging. I have a couple thoughts after, like, I'm curious after, like, I want to finish the story to see how it wraps up before I like start asking questions. But yeah, I mean that was a great way to like cement, you know, I guess just the action of the story, this big mass event. A really fun way to do a rapture by the way. And a cool, you know, like
Yeah.
we see that a lot, but that's a fun way of having like kind of a doomsday event or a rapture or cleansing, taking kind of what we know or predictions of what we think will happen and using that against us in a fun way. So
Yeah.
this episode's sponsored by Cash App. Some of us on this podcast have been scammed. Not going to go into who exactly, but we're furious. They were tricked into giving sensitive information and then locked out of their account. Okay, thank God it's about Isaiah, not me. And that only gets worse this time of year. Scammers know the holidays are busy for everyone, which can make us all targets for scams. That's why Cash App builds in protection to help you keep your money safe while you're checking off your shopping list. If you're about to send money to someone for a deal that's too good to be true and Cash App flags this potential scam, well, warn them before you send the money. I wish someone had Cash App. Cash App also gives you an extra layer of protection with features like security lock. You can require a PIN, Face ID, or fingerprint to unlock your account, and make money so even if someone gets a hold of your unlocked phone at a holiday party, your money is right away. Give yourself some peace of mind this holiday season and download Cash App. For a limited time only, new Cash App customers can use our exclusive code to earn some additional cash for real. It's like $10, not a lot. It's money though. You want some burgers from the store? Just download Cash App, use our exclusive referral code SECURE10 in your profile to send $5 to a friend within 14 days, and you'll get $10 dropped right into your account. Terms apply. They didn't tell us. It just says terms apply. I don't know what the terms are. That's money. That's Cash App. Cash App is a financial service platform. No debt. That's how we're ending that one too. Are you serious? That's how we're ending that?
Phase 4, the belch.
Well, you
Oh,
proved
it's
me
gonna
wrong.
Spit up all the bones
Now
and
take
stuff.
your
Excellent.
reward
1
and
month
get the hell
14
outta
days
here.
Passed. No arms, no movement from the sky. Cloud remained, hanging impossibly still above the Atlantic like a wound that refused to heal. Most nations had abandoned any attempt to engage with it. Some still broadcast official statements, hollow, robotic reassurances, but no one listened. The world had been held in place, breathless, afraid to look up, held hostage by our new god. Cities went dark.
Listen up, Jack.
Markets
What are
crashed,
you standing there
families
for?
fractured,
Don't you have work to
people
do?
starved. Millions gathered in open fields, begging to be taken. Millions took their own lives in the face of the inevitable. Others locked the doors and prayed to be forgotten. Dr. Marie Finn stayed. She slept inside the bunker beneath the North Strain climate facility. She hadn't left in weeks. The others were gone, some taken when the arms descended, some fled, some too broken to continue. She kept her notes, her logs, her rituals of data and control, but every day it grew harder to believe that any of it mattered. Finn's console crackled to life at 3:58 a.m. The signal was faint, washed in static, but the voice on the other end was unmistakable.
Finn?
Jonas said, quick and hushed, like he was afraid of the sound itself might carry.
Tell me you're awake.
I'm awake.
Her voice was brittle, syllables clipped. She had been awake for days.
What is it?
I've been tracking something. Pressure readings from the South Atlantic buoy network. They're tanking. In a storm and a current shift, it's like the air itself is leaking. This is different.
This world was like shaking.
Drop isn't local, it's global. Everything is bleeding toward the cloud. Not winds, everything. It's pulling me. Like it's
He stopped himself and said it anyway.
like it's inhaling.
Finn exhaled through her nose.
We don't know what it's doing.
I do know. It's hungry. And it's patient, but
A low laugh broke out that wasn't joy.
we're still pretending this is not
This is about survival, Jonas.
Said, doubting her own words.
Is it?
There was a pause before he spoke again.
We're all dead anyway. It's just a matter of time before it gets hungry again. And when it does,
He trailed off, static filling the gap.
you've seen the fields. You see the ones begging for it to take them. That's not living. That's meat waiting to be picked up.
Stop.
Why? You want the truth, Mareed? There's no stopping it. There's no bargaining. We're not even ants to it. Ants get noticed before they're stepped on. Or sorry, this thing?
He stopped abruptly. Next sound a sharp hiss in the line.
Jonas?
Silence. She waited another 3 seconds and set the receiver down, her fingers trembling against the console. She clasped her hands together, lowered her head, and for the first time in her life, she began to pray. She waited. Nothing. At exactly 4:17 a.m., 1 month and 14 days since the cloud, the sky opened again. No warning, no signal, just a sudden shift at the cloud center. Folds thrown back, parting like lips peeled open by invisible hands. The drumming was constant, but this time something new came. The sound began low, wet, rolling, like a cauldron of bile tipping somewhere beyond the stratosphere. Pressure dropped, the wind died, then came a vast, guttural exhalation that seemed to surge from the planet's core and shatter the sky above. A noise like the entire sky dry heaving, viscous and phlegm-soaked. The kind of sound that makes the stomach knot before the ears understand. A single, cataclysmic, guttural bellow that cracked windows on every continent and shattered the upper atmosphere. The ground shook, tides recoiled, and birds fell from the sky. It wasn't just sound, it was force. A pressure wave of wet breath and raw heat, like an open furnace filled with rotting flesh. It swept the globe within minutes. People clutched their heads and screamed as their ears bled. Animals bolted and dropped dead mid-run. Birds fell in flocks. Trees died. Satellites blinked out. Those at the epicenter could only scream as the birds burst them into nothingness. And the smell. Stench so vast, so cellular, soaked through walls. It crawled into lungs and stayed there. Taste of spoiled meat and copper. People vomited, others tore at their flesh, trying to escape it. Most were dead in seconds, and then came the blood. From deep within the beast, beyond the gauze and folds of mist, something ruptured. A pressure valve? A gullet? A wound? No one knows. A tidal wave of thick, arterial blood expelled with such volume and speed that it fell like monsoon rain over half the globe. Red soaked the ocean and rivers. Red splashed across rooftops and deserts and jungles. Half the earth painted in blood. It steamed where it landed, hot and thick, and it reeked of iron and something sweet. Something wrong. Some said they heard whispers in the rain. The clouds peeled back, and for the first and only time, being seen, truly seen. For exactly 93 seconds, the sky was clear. Not in fragments, not distorted. It filled the sky. It was the sky. Its shape defied thought. Impossibly symmetrical, yet shifting as though the universe itself was trying and failing to remember it. Its surface was a chaos of textures, pinkish gray membranes that pulsed with a rhythm older than time, bone plate ridges spiraling in geometries our minds could not hold, and spindled nerves that writhed like lightning frozen mid-strike. Each wrinkle, each twitch seemed to come with awareness, as if the cosmos itself had been stitched into its flesh. Its face, past for one, stared down through a million lidless, goat-like eyes. Some were as vast as mountains, some flickered like dying stars, all simultaneously seeing and knowing. Our thoughts recoiled, our vision trembled, and yet we could not look away. And then it did something impossible. It smiled. No teeth, no lips, no gesture to recognize. Just a slow, dreadful unfurling of facial tissue, an imitation of something it had only ever observed in our species, a suggestion of amusement aimed at the futility of existence. The motion folded in on itself in ways that yet held. We felt it, not just in our eyes, but our blood, our marrow, thought we didn't know existed. And the sky swallowed its differences. Memory lingered. Shapes impossible to describe etched into our minds. Geometry that should not be in our dreams. Faint. Shadow ever crossed our way. Not peace. And then nothing. No alarms, no sound. Just the repetition of fear felt in the drum of the wind returning at last. The skin never faded, never fully gone. The red rain soaked into everything. No government spoke publicly again after that. People stopped going outside. Entire towns were found empty, dead. Others worshipped. Others killed themselves. The world waited. Project Cerberus Bell. Dr. Maureen Finn. Classified. Day 45. 7:02 a.m.
It belched. I don't know how else to describe it. It expelled something vast and foul into our atmosphere. Not an attack, not a gesture of dominance. A function. A bodily function. Like I forgot we were here. The sound, I cannot put into words. I felt it in the roots of my teeth, in the gaps between cells. It broke something in the sky, and the smell. The smell is still here, clinging to the vents, to my skin. It soaked its way into the bunker. The blood is everywhere. We've confirmed it's organic, human, and something else. For 93 seconds, I let it sit. I don't think we're supposed to. I don't think it cares. I haven't slept since. I don't believe anyone is left to read this, but I'm still waiting. There's something to the radiation that's happening. This is not an anomaly. This is a presence. This is an extinction event.
This is such an interesting, like you see this impossible thing, again, similar to Hellstar. And it's not really like there's some, oh, how do we beat it? Or how do we survive? Or not even like an I Am Legend, like this is the last person riding to valiantly hold the line for humanity. It's just like, yeah, so this thing is going to end the world, and that's it. That's all you get. Yeah, what's going to happen.
A hopeless kind, which I mean, for an extinction event, that's what it should feel like, which I will give this story credit for, is that it feels really hopeless, and I think that like gets conveyed really well in the Doctor too.
It also like yes, insert joke Lovecraftian and cosmic horror and whatnot, but it is cosmic horror in the way most people overlook. Because a lot of the time people just focus on the aesthetic of it, because that's like what Lovecraft talked about and stuff, like things that are hard to describe, the imagery of it. But more so, cosmic horror is the idea, which I got into at some of my most recent YouTube videos. I'm not going to rehash the same points, but it's more often the concept of something that we can't perceive, or a thing that doesn't care to perceive us. Right. The analogy I used in my video was a fish understanding a license plate. Like, imagine what a bug, what a beetle would think of a computer, right? It would have no, if a beetle was able to understand, it would come across like electricity and servers and, you know, interfaces, all these things that are so far beyond its understanding, because it's finding something that doesn't care about beetles, right? So scale that up. Humanity has a creature that comes across it that uses us as a food source, but like she says, it forgot we were there. Like, it belched, and the belch annihilated people. It destroyed, you know, millions. It destroyed part of the earth, but it's just, it doesn't care about us. Why would it care about us? We're like smaller than ants to it. It's no different from bacteria that are on the floor as you walk through a room. I like that horror, the idea of like things that have a disregard for humanity.
Yeah.
Even like the people that are religiously worshiping it, it's almost like there is a comfort in worshiping something this powerful, because then at least it's like, well, even if it kills me, even if it ruins me, I still matter. Like, it still cares about me to some degree, rather than being totally disregarded. Like, even in world religions, you may not have a say in the end of the world, but you were at least a part of it. But to have something in the world that doesn't even consider your existence, that's terrible.
I think it's hard for humans to comprehend that too, with just like the level of consciousness we have and stuff.
Yeah.
And how we disregard things that have like a lower sense of consciousness and everything.
Yeah, it puts the shoe on the other foot.
Yeah.
Like, turns, you know, where we are to them. Because there's never been, other than like the cosmos, which we're just like kind of talking about, as far as we've seen, there's never been something discovered, something like, even if we see an image of some far-off galaxy, it's like, well, we built the camera that took the picture. Or if we, you know, every invention that's ever been made was by humans, for humans, or like in relation to humans or whatever. But to come across something that we are completely inconsequential to, that's terrifying. It's never happened to us before, right? I think that's where like cosmic horror really shines in instances like this. Phase 5, afterbirth. It began to harden. Blood congealed under heat, rain. The bright red sands covered oceans, cities, forests, darkened, thickened with reddish clots. Then, what had first been described as organic blood now revealed itself to be something more, a precursor, a fluid waiting to become. On the 15th day after the belch, the first major surface scan from what remained of the LEO satellites returned images of a continuous sheet forming across the Atlantic basin. Fibrous, pale, rigid in places, like cooled wax spread over the surface of the Earth. At first, it seemed like sediment or ice, but it flexed. Beneath solar radiation, it tightened. Beneath lunar light, it swelled. Seismic equipment registered subtle movement, microscopic contractions, as if breathing through the crust. The red had become pink-gray, and pink-gray was becoming skin. A skin that now stretched uninterrupted from Portugal to the eastern edge of the Caribbean. The scientists who remained debated this transformation in hushed mechanical tones. No conclusions were reached. There was no baseline, no comparative models. But Dr. Mareed Finn understood. This was not an invasion. This was not a divine punishment. This was gestation. Earth, or what remained of it, was being blanketed in something alive. Not absorbed, not consumed, prepared. And then, at 8:46 p.m. on the 46th day, the cloud moved. It shifted without sound, without storm, without effort. Not blown, not carried, not pulled by gravity. It simply drifted, as if an unseen cord had been cut, as if the process in the west had reached some threshold. It took 6 hours to traverse the ocean, 6 hours of silence. People in Asia and Australia watched it approach, the spiraling gauze blotting out the sky, as if it was swallowing it whole.
I'd shake your hand,
They had
but
seen the
I bet you
videos.
got
They knew what would
dysentery.
come.
The way you
Still, they
smell.
watched. Some hoped it would pass. It didn't. At 2:17 local time, the clouds settled above the Indian Ocean. The sky began to open again, and the arms began their terrible descent. Project Cerberus Veil.
You better take it.
Dr.
You better
Marie
not
Finn,
fuck this up,
classified.
or I'll cut your
Day
goddamn
46,
throat.
11:44 p.m. Cerberus Veil, final transmission.
The blood is not inert. It is a matrix, a forming tissue, something between placenta and a cocoon. Still soft in parts, but solidifying. Already 3/4 of the Atlantic seafloor is covered in a single sheet. Our instruments can't pierce it. It's warm. It pulses every 7 minutes. It is alive. The cloud has moved to the Indian Ocean. The initial signs suggest the process is starting again. The same pattern, same altitude, same shape, same silence. I believe this is the reproductive behavior, a life cycle. This thing or system or entity is using the atmosphere to sow itself. It does not need us. It does not hear us. It does not need us. We were not chosen. We were not rejected. We were incidentally present. What we thought was an anomaly was a phase, a part of something older, larger, maybe 1,000,000 years old, maybe eternal. It doesn't matter. What matters is what's being left behind. A blanket, a membrane, a womb stretched across the earth. There's no rescue coming. There's no top of the food chain. There is only the shape behind the clouds and what it leaves in its wake. I am writing this from a world already half covered in skin, already half dead. Tomorrow, I will step outside and feel it for myself. I want to know if it responds. I want to know if it knows I'm here.
That's so hard. I love that. She's come to the point that it's meaningless. Like the world's gonna end one way or the other. But that last line about I want to know if it knows I'm here goes back to what I was saying with like, at least if you worship it, you can be a part, right? At least you
Yeah,
weren't
well,
just an incident, an
It
accident
feels
that was
like
there.
feels like one last ditch effort of having some kind of conclusion to this, that it mattered to you in a way, like kind of just a bit of a selfish desire to be like, I need it to know that I was here. whatever.
Yeah.
You know.
I mattered. I'm a person. I exist. Yeah. It's a desperate. It's like fighting. I mean, the reference people make with most cosmic stuff is like it's a god figure, right? It's like yelling out at God. You know, a desperation to be known, to exist, that your existence mattered. In the face of something that doesn't care. It'd be like if the bug in your house, like the way a bug feels about you is indifferent to you. If your ladybug the ladybug in your home refers to you as some deity or some devil or something, it doesn't matter because you don't think about it. It's like a desperation to need to be known, need to be seen. So, finally, phase 6, final. The surface of the planet is no longer visible. A thick, swirling fog blankets every inhospitable continent, every ocean, rising miles into the sky. It doesn't move with the wind, it ignores the weather. It simply clings, dense, luminous, and unnaturally still. Satellite feeds, what few remain, show the same impossible formations above Earth's surface. Layered mist, spiraling but unmoving, no rotation, no eye, just folds. Just gauze, stacked and suspended. Jonas no longer checks the time. He hasn't for days. His oxygen mask hisses its final shallow breaths, each one thinner than the last. The generators have gone silent. The lights burn only in intermittent flickers, casting the facility in a pulse of dim, ghost-like hues. Every room is empty. Everyone else is dead. Jonas lies flat on the cold concrete floor, cheek pressed against it, one hand spread wide as if to hold the earth steady. His lips move, forming soundless words, but he stops. He doesn't need words. He needs to listen. Thump, 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 thump. A heartbeat. It was in the cloud. It was in the sky. Now it's here. Beneath his bones, inside the crust, deep in the dark belly of the world. Jonas let out a broken laugh that cracked into a sob. His eyes glisten, unfocused, staring at the ceiling as if he could see through it to the sky above.
There are 2 of them now.
He whispers, barely audible. Fog outside pulses with a faint, internal light. Not lightning, not fire. Something vascular, something alive. His throat tightens, his chest is heavy. The hiss of his mask is a thin trickle of air, barely enough to maintain hope. Pulls it away as it falls beside him. Silence rushes in. He smiles, weak and delirious, teeth streaked with blood from biting his tongue raw in his sleep.
Over the womb.
Jonas had never been a religious man. He used to scoff at prayer, a ritual. But now, on the floor of a dying world, the last man standing, a gun trembling in his hand, he mouths the words anyway. Fragments of hymns, half-remembered songs, apologies to no one. Jones the gun on himself, comforted by the realization that already overstood. The fog above glows brighter, its folds pulsate with rhythm, like veins, like lungs. Jonas closes his eyes. The weight of suffocation pressing him into the floor. His last escape, not of resistance. Only far beyond Earth, the silence of the cloud drifts on, searching for the next world. The Earth exhales its final breath and becomes something more. Man,
That's
dude,
the end.
how sick is that?
It's not that it was hard to get bought in. It was just like, how many times have we seen a thing where it's like doctors doing interviewing of some kind, right? And then we're getting into this part that a lot of Lovecraftian things, which is like the tentacles, all that kind of stuff, right? That we see a lot in with Lovecraftian monster stuff. It just kind of goes hand in hand. But I feel like it really picked up, and I feel like I was like really cemented in when after the rapture part. But then we find out that it kind of feels like this rapture end time thing is actually a creature coming, prepping a planet to become basically itself. I like to think that that creature is another planet, right? It feeds off a planet,
Yeah.
and then it molds and shifts, and then it flies away and kind of does the same thing. It's almost like these prophecies that were man-made were true, and that this rapture was coming, but it just means something completely different, which I think is cool.
That's about it, yeah.
I'm curious what you think though of this idea of do you think you could have done this without having the like kind of stereotypical Lovecraftian, and not to say stereotypical because I wouldn't say that, like I mean like it ventures off into some fun stuff with like you see the eyes and you see like it's smiling, it doesn't really have like a face, it's just muscle tissue that it's mimicking and it understands and it's like expressing an emotion in that way. But could it be done in a way where it doesn't have this like, I don't know, like the very stereotypical Lovecraftian, like, you know, the tentacle type thing and people going mad? Do you think like the people going mad or insane, is that something that's like inherently necessary when tackling these like very large existential like leaps and bounds that kind of goes hands in hand with Lovecraft, you know?
I think if you're describing a creature the size of the Earth that is going to be the death of everyone, I think you kind of got to mention people go insane, because I feel like any rationality would go right out the window, right? Like if it's
I think so. I guess it's just that before it seemed like the story led that it's like you look at it and you go insane, almost like there was like a mystical property to it, versus the inevitability of like, oh, this, I'm going to die, that leaves you insane. To me, those are two different things. I think like no matter what, you definitely do go insane, but I guess there was like a mysticism to that before, where it's like if you even looked at it, it was so appalling that you went insane. You know, that's like a very Lovecraft thing.
Yeah, I don't think it's the look of it that go insane. Now, granted, it would be terrifying to see a creature that big, right, the size of this guy. That would probably be alarming, especially if it was shapes that like you can't really, like it's something, the way it's described is like it's a mist or a fog around the Earth. I like the idea that when it's over the Earth, it's like things are just a different color. It's not even on the same realm of existence that we are entirely. We just kind of see glimpses of it. So I feel like that's certainly imagery that would make you like go mad, but I feel like it's more so the impending doom of humanity. You know, whatever religion you follow doesn't matter, whatever connections you made with your life doesn't matter. I feel like that's where the insanity comes in. More so, maybe not necessarily insanity, but panic would maybe be a bit more fitting, you know?
No, I mean, I think that
Not
really
really
makes
people's
sense.
minds breaks, just that they become so desperate.
I guess it's just before it was like, don't go out and don't look at it. It was just it's a very standard Lovecraftian thing. I don't know. I mean, like the love, to me, if I had any criticism for the story, was that the weakest part was just the Lovecraftian nature of the beast itself. Everything else was so fun.
You're talking about the physical appearance of it.
Yes.
That I just kind of I think it would be a bit stronger if you just left the physical appearance of it as the mention that it's like a shape, and then when it gets closer to the ground, things are a different color.
The idea,
I feel like that's more effective than the giant shapes in the sky.
the
different colors impactful. I like that idea that it's just like a hue that's placed over everything.
the story I think does well with what it's trying to achieve, which is basically like re-identifying what a rapture is. And I think like it feels like even the ending is the Earth becomes impregnated and becomes its own entity. If you look at the creature like a sperm cell going into the Earth like a womb, and that was the mass event, is like a thing hitting the Earth and like impregnates the Earth in that way, and then it like spores out or does something. I feel like that would have been a really fun way to go about it, because really, like I said, the only criticism is that we get a lot of like similar imagery and things. Granted, like you were saying, very Junji Ito, of the guy being like, the rapture isn't just people floating up into a light, it's tentacles coming down and grabbing people. I think that's fun. And like the way that it went into it is you get all these different people on Earth and different scenarios was really fun and horrifying. I just don't know. And this is just me as like feedback, or just like, you know, food for thought. Obviously it's like, after reading the story, it's easy to say these things, but just wondering if that could have been, or like, you know, for future work, if it's looking at ways of like, there's a traditional way of doing this Lovecraftian thing. How do you continuously flip it on its head? You know, how do you do a Lovecraftian thing where there is no tentacles, where there is no kind of like thing where people are like, I look at it and I go completely mad, which these are all things I love, but I'm just wondering, because the idea is so cool, that I'm wondering, could have just been a thing where it's like out in the cosmos, almost like a sperm cell hits, you know, the Earth like a meteor, like a meteor hitting Earth is actually like an
I
alien.
don't think it's necessarily like a sperm and egg metaphor as much as it is like a bacterial thing, almost.
I mean,
the way
it,
it's
it
described.
doesn't have
It's
to be.
like-
I'm just saying in my rendition, if you had to do this thing of like Earth regrowing, I'm just saying it like that's another kind
Oh, I
of
see what you're saying.
unknown kind of thing of it's like an asteroid hitting Earth is an asteroid hitting the Earth and causing like a cataclysmic event is something very similar to what we're doing here, which is just like an end of time things that was just like it wasn't even planned, it just happened because you were there, you know, it just happened because there was no divine intervention of why it hit your planet, you were just in the way. And to me that also taps into that, like, you know, meaning the almost like the very nihilistic view of like life as we know it, and like humans trying to comprehend like a larger part of the story that they're a part of, which is like nothing, you know. I think that,
Well,
yeah,
I think you can certainly do it without like other planets. But there's also like the thing I just covered on the main channel, that which gave chase. You never see any visual there. It's just a creature that's implied to be beneath or above the ice, maybe, that like it's not even called a creature, just a presence that like contorts people's memories, but you never see anything of it.
and I do want to say I give props
So
to the
you're-
author for describing the creature and that kind of thing. I think that like an easy way out a lot of the time is that you do get that thing that you don't ever see it, and you kind of like lean on the person's imagination, which is effective because you can never be disappointed because you're kind of like making you're making your own visual that satisfies you in your head. But I do have a lot of respect for people who do put themselves out there and they're like, this is what I think would be the creepiest, weirdest thing, or like this is what I think is the most intriguing aspect visually.
When he was describing the clouds broke open and it was like a series of shapes and stuff that were symmetrical but not right and stuff like that, I was almost imagining like a kaleidoscope.
Yeah.
And like as the kaleidoscope is moving, you can see different like bones and stuff appear and then disappear and stuff like that. Like it's here, but it's not here.
That's what made
sort
me,
of.
whenever you said the angel appearing, that's kind of what I like. When I think of like a kaleidoscope, it almost has that kind of like heavenly vibe to it. Just the way that it's like twisting and, you know, just the shape conveying, it's almost beautiful, you know?
Yeah. The millions of eyes too. That also leans back on angel imagery. I was trying to see if the day count had anything to do with like Revelation, but the days of Revelation are mentioned as like 70 weeks. That's like the imagery people use. So I didn't really see that.
Well, what I found too is after you said that, I thought something similar was like, well, maybe this is kind of like it does have like almost like a biblical aspect to it, but it's kind of fun because then it completely disregards it in the same way that like the people in the story start to disregard that too, where they're just like, oh, this has no meaning. Like there's no kind of like, there's no grand plan to any of this, you know. Like I enjoyed that the futility kind of fell into our lap as well as like the reader with the characters.
Yeah, the idea of like it starts out as like, maybe we can figure it out, maybe we can. There's not really like, you figure it out from descriptions, but there's not really explanation given to it. I imagine this is like some parasite, some giant creature that its life cycle is just going to a planet and impregnating the earth with like its offspring, then moving on to another planet, almost like the way is it a bot fly that plants their eggs on, or a grabber fly or whatever, and plants its eggs on other things. So it just goes to a planet, lays it, and goes, which implies there could be a whole other world of these creatures that size. Or maybe these things are the small parasites to something much larger, and we're a speck of a speck. Like, again, it gets into the cosmic idea of humanity's unimportance in the universe, which is something we're very unfamiliar with, which I think is cool, and where a lot of the fear comes from. But I liked a lot of the individual moments. I like the idea of Jonas being the last man standing. I think that's a cool idea. It reminded me of Soma at the end of that game, where it's one person alone at the bottom of the ocean being kept alive by machines. It's like the last person of the planet killing themselves before this planet becomes whatever it's going to be next. Another one of these parasite things, perhaps.
The idea too that the idea too that the planet probably was just flying by, and then it noticed that there was life on our planet, and then it needed that life to reproduce is fun, because it also means that because that creature is flying around, there was other planets with life that spawned itself. It's just kind of like an even, I don't know, like that cycle is just interesting, where you think about it and you're like, oh fuck, it probably fed off somebody else, you know, like we're not alone in this universe and stuff, and like it's all just it's just so fucking hopeless, or like, you know, it's just people, like, you just don't even comprehend these things. I don't know, it's big existential questions, which is just really fun, but it's just a fun visual, fun story, really well written too. I just want to say there's a lot of great little segments of like beautiful descriptions, just like the flow of ideas, and just, yeah, like I said, descriptions and stuff. It was just really nice.
I really like a lot of the imagery. I really love a lot of the references to the Rapture and stuff, not just because it's me, but also because I just think that's a fun tie-in between the two. And I also really dug, like, pretty much all the descriptors for stuff, like the hands coming down and the brush and stuff. I thought those were sick. Honestly, if I had one critique for the whole story, the only thing that I'm like, yeah, you could have done without that, is the mention of the agency or whatever. That didn't really come up anywhere, and I think it's cooler if he's just like another meteorologist or another scientist, because it's not like that anomalous group offered any deeper insight into what was happening here. So it didn't really come up anywhere. So I think it's cooler if humanity's even more than he's just in the, I don't know, the weather space or something like that.
Yeah.
Other than that, I think it was a stellar story with great writing, and I really love the creature. I love how feudal everything was. I love the creature. It's like a giant bacteria or mold that lays over the earth and pulls everyone up and reproduces. It was sick. I really loved it. Again, this author, Pitiful Scream 97, has 2 more stories. I sit with my window closed now, and 1,000 Morning People. We'll have his stuff linked in the description. Be sure to support him because he deserves it. And of course, Pitiful Scream, thank you for posting in r/Creepcast. It means a lot.
If I had any critique, I don't think I have any critique. I think just subjective thoughts, kind of going off what you're saying, just to tie it up to, is I like, and this is just a personal preference, I like when stories don't go like the giant government route, whatever. Like, and I know we were joking about like the meteorologist thing, but it would be kind of cool if it was just like, this is just a single person. Like, this is just a feeling. It's like they can still see this anomaly happening and comprehend it. There's no way that we'll ever comprehend it. So like having them be scientists too feels not irrelevant, but just like, you know, because having them be scientists helps them be like trying to make sense of everything. But I still think you can do that with like a small, just like, I don't know if that makes sense. That's once again, it's just subjective. It's just me being like, oh, my personal preference, so who gives a fuck? But that's just the one thought I had. Otherwise, it was awesome. Yeah, I appreciate you writing it. Thank you for posting it to the Creepcast subreddit. We'll leave a link in the description as well to that post. And if you guys want to write stuff, fucking put it up on the server, man. There's people.
Please, for the love of God, keep writing.
Yes.
You're this good, like 1 month in. Oh my gosh, dude.
Yeah, and that's the thing too, is like, I mean, every story you write, you're just gonna figure more and more stuff, more and more stuff out about what you enjoy and like ways that you wish you could take stories. So this is another opportunity as well to just tell people, write things. Be upset with what you wrote and just continue to write, and use this hopefully as like just an experience just to be creative and make something fucking cool, because your story is something we want to read. So until next time, guys, thank you so much to our audio listeners. If you're listening right now on Spotify or Apple Podcasts, thanks for giving us a good rating there. And also thank you to our patrons. We appreciate you. And we will see you guys in the next one. Bye.
2 hours later. Yeah, it's a real shame that Hunter, you guys can't hear him right now, but he's telling me on my headset that he thinks this story is stupid and he hates all of you for uploading stories to Creepcast. Are you sure? Are you sure you want me to tell everyone that? Okay, yeah, he says he doesn't appreciate you. He says that you're awful. He says that you should get a life or a job, and more importantly, get out of his. And also, he hates his mother and wife. Yeah. Bye.
Please be sure to listen to this podcast on Spotify or Apple Podcast and audio listening channels as well. Welcome back to another episode, another creepy episode of Creepcast. Ooh.
Are you sure you don't want to actually, talk about how this is a Stretch and Fade episode, or Cream Crew episode?
And I'll tell you why I'm not doing that is because today we're doing another creepy grab bag.
Woo, yay, yippee! I gotta say, I'm actually pretty excited because normally Hunter's so unsure about what we're gonna read. He's always like, I don't know, does this sound good? What do you think? And then he gets in the call today. He's like, we're doing these 3 videos in this order. Here's the links. Read it. Like, I'm like, oh, all right.
Came in with a little bit of confidence today.
A little bit.
Somebody actually, they suggested these 3 stories on a Reddit post. And it was the disappearance of Ashley, Kansas.
Oh, wait. One of our audience members suggested this?
Yes.
This is a horrible idea.
Yeah, well, it's been a while since we've done reader suggestions. Actually, we've been doing a lot of them just off of, I know it's impossible to not talk about one that people haven't probably recommended, but it's been a while since we've specifically looked at a post and then read what they suggested. So the 3 today are the disappearance of Ashley, Kansas, which the last two sound a little funky, especially Eilish Jack. All right, which as I was saying before we were recording, I feel like Eilish Jack. Don't get me wrong, dare I say, I think it's gonna be a story about probably a man who visits a child in their bed and just looks at him, and it's gonna say something like, "He had no eyes, but he stared at me." If I was a betting man,
I have no idea what you're talking about. So far off from what the story actually is. You're so stupid right now. You look like such an idiot.
But I want
what are you talking about?
I want to start with the disappearance of Ashley, Kansas, because I just love these kinds of names. I really like how this first story is written. is written and uploaded by Coaster Kid 93. Yeah, I like roller coasters. It's kind of my jam. It's also funny how enthralled I am by just like the verb of insert woman's name. that apparently is, I'm like, that's a damn good title. Wow. The Feeding of Jessica Bunny. Or something like that.
You would love that. If we came across a story with that title, you'd be like, we have to read this.
If I saw a story titled The Feeding of Jessica Bunny, would you not be a little bit curious?
Well, okay, for one, I would assume it was like a play on Jessica Rabbit, right?
I think that's where my mind wanted to go, but I had to pivot last second. I think that's
where your mind wanted to go because you were thinking about the word feeding, and then you were like, oh, I'd like to feed her, and then like it just like your brain implanted an image. Yeah, I think that's what happened there. But the feeding of XYZ could be interesting. I get what you mean, though, about like the hyper-specific titles. It feels like, I don't know, it feels very direct.
Well, I think you're right too.
You're not gonna get any of this artsy stuff. It's gonna be loud, whatever happens.
It kind of has I think you're right, where it feels like I get like a police report or some kind of thing. It just feels like it's going like almost like a true crime or paranormal kind of like ooh. There's like just a level of mystique to it. So I'm looking forward to this. It is 12 years ago, so this is primo no sleep uploads time.
And once again, if this all sucks, it is the fault of, for one, the person who posted this to the subreddit, but more importantly, Hunter for trusting you.
That is true. So, I take blame.
And if it does good, then it's me for allowing him to do
I will accept that as well.
I'm a chronically unhealthy person that's unhappy the majority of time in my life. I go to doctors all the time, but who can you really trust? That's why I use ZocDoc. ZocDoc is a free app and website where you can search and compare high-quality, in-network doctors. Choose the right one for your needs and click to instantly book an appointment. We're talking about in-network appointments with more than 100,000 healthcare providers across every specialty. Do you have an unknown virus that no one's ever been able to find out ever? It doesn't matter. ZocDoc has a doctor for it. I promise. From mental health to dental health, eye care to skincare, and much more. The best thing about ZocDoc is that you can filter for doctors that take your insurance, are nearby, and are highly rated. It's that time that works for you. With the right doctor to fit your needs, plus doctor's appointments happen fast. Typically within just 24 to 72 hours of booking. Sometimes you can even get same-day appointments. Whoa. You don't want to admit it, but you should probably see a doctor, you unhealthy fuck. So stop putting off those doctor appointments and go to ZocDoc.com/creepcast to find and instantly book a top-rated doctor today. That's ZocDoc.com/creepcast. ZocDoc.com/creepcast. Thank you, ZocDoc, for sponsoring this episode. Back to the story.
So, on that note, the disappearance of Ashley, Kansas. Sometime during the night of August the 16th, 1952, the small town of Ashley, Kansas ceased to exist. All right, I'm in. I
literally thought it was about just a woman named Ashley, Kansas.
I thought it was about a girl named Ashley who was from Kansas.
Yeah. Wow. It's just, that's interesting. A whole town disappearing. Keep going.
I'm immediately interested. Okay. At 3:28 a.m. on August the 17th, 1952, a magnitude 7.9 earthquake was measured by the United States Geological Survey. The earthquake itself was felt throughout the state and most of the Midwest. The epicenter was determined to be directly under Ashley, Kansas. When state law enforcement arrived at what should have been the outskirts of the farming community, they found a smoldering, burning fissure in the earth, measuring 1,000 yards in length and approximately 500 yards in width. The depth of the fissure was never determined. After 12 days, the statewide and local search for the missing 679 residents of Ashley, Kansas was called off by the
Great.
Kansas state
Here you
government
go.
at 9:15
Don't spend it
p.m.
all in one
on the night of
place.
August 29th, 1952.
Thank God, it's almost
All
closing
679
time. I've had
residents were
enough
assumed to be
bullshit
dead.
for one day.
At 2:27 a.m. on August the 30th,
Let's make a pact.
1952,
It's a deal.
magnitude 7.9
Disappoint me,
earthquake was
and you'll
measured by
find
the
yourself
United
on the
States
wrong
Geological
end
Survey.
of a rope.
The epicenter was situated under what used to be the location of Ashley, Kansas. When law enforcement investigated at 5:32 a.m., they reported that the fissure in the earth had closed.
Oh, that's fun.
In the 8 days leading up to the disappearance of the town and its 679 residents, bizarre and unexplainable events were reported by dozens of residents in Ashley, Kansas, and law enforcement from the surrounding area. By the way, that thing we talked about, how these titles are indicative of like a police presence, of like a very, like a cold true crime feel
Trader Rex is
almost.
now closed.
This
So
reads
get
exactly
off
like
my lawn.
Oh, okay, cool.
an
Okay.
agency or something. So I think that's kind of the vibe we're getting. On the evening of August the 8th, 1952, at 7:13 p.m., a resident by the name of Gabriel Jonathan reported a strange sight in the sky above Ashley. The town itself, having no official branch of law enforcement, called into the police station of the neighboring town of Hayes. Gabriel reported what appeared to be a, quote, small black opening in the sky, end quote. Within the next 15 minutes, the Hayes police station became overwhelmed with dozens of phone calls, all reporting the same phenomenon. The phenomenon was never reported by any neighboring communities. A decision was made to send a trooper to Ashley to investigate the matter the following morning.
Almost like a setup of a UFO or kind of like an alien. To me, is what it feels like a little bit. Is the setup. I don't think that's what it is necessarily, but I feel like if somebody was reporting stuff in like that, you would almost think it's like almost Phoenix Lights kind of vibe or something, where multiple people saw this thing and then they darted away. Except having it be a small black hole in the sky is.
The black opening in the sky is interesting. At 7:54 a.m. on the morning of August the 9th, 1952, Hayes police officer Alan Mace radioed the Hayes police station. He reported that, despite following the one-way road leading into Ashley, he had become lost. Ooh. According to his report, the road, quote, continued along its normal path, but somehow ended up back in Hayes, end quote. Officer Mace went on to add that the road never curved or bent in any direction. 9:15 a.m., 7 of the town's 10 police cars were sent to investigate the situation, and all members of the team came to the same conclusion. The only road leading into Ashley stopped leading into Ashley, but instead led back to Hayes. Phone calls continue to pour into the Hayes police station, all reporting that the black opening in the sky continued to grow in size. All callers were advised to remain inside and to not travel outside unless absolutely necessary. At 8:17 p.m., Miss Elaine Cantor reported her neighbors, Mr. and Mrs. Milton, and their 2 children, Jeffrey and Brooke, missing. According to Mrs. Cantor's phone call, the Miltons attempted to leave town in their family car earlier in the evening. They never returned. Law enforcement officials from Hayes never reported the car or individuals coming up the one-way road. Okay, this goes hard. So the police are trying to get into Ashley, but the road has become non-Euclidean, right? Like they pass, they're going straight and then they wind up back where they started over and over. And in the meantime, people who are inside of Ashley trying to leave don't come back. At 7:38 a.m. on the morning of August 10th, 1952, phone calls from Ashley into the Hayes police station reported that the town was in total darkness. The sun had never risen. At 10:15 a.m., at the request of Hayes law enforcement, a helicopter from Topeka, Kansas flew over the region in which Ashley, Kansas stood. The town was never observed from the air. At 12:43 p.m. on the afternoon of August the 11th, 1952, Miss Phoebe Danielewski called into the Hayes police station. She reported that her daughter Erica had begun to have conversations with her father, who died 3 years prior in a drunk driving accident.
Oh, wow.
To add to her concern, Miss Danielewski reported that Erica was attempting to go outside into the dark to, quote, join them. Over the course of the next 12 hours, a reported 329 phone calls were placed into the Hayes police station, all describing similar phenomenon with the children of the town.
I mean, yeah, it almost seems like something otherworldly, almost like a portal to hell is opening or something. So, because like whenever you have these dead relatives reaching out to these people and manipulating them, do you actually believe that they're the actual people, or do you think that they're disguised?
Are you talking about within the story or like real life?
Yeah, in the story.
I thought you were like, in real life, do you think what do you think of like the afterlife?
Like Erica was attempting to go outside into the dark to join them, but it's like, is she being coerced by people pretending to be, or do you actually think that it's maybe like ghosts of people or spirits of people in that way?
I don't have enough info yet to know if this is like malicious or like kind of just.
Well, I guess just first impression.
I guess first impression is that the town is going through some kind of like spatial, thing where maybe I was right with the boiled one thing, that it's like an unholy rapture. Like on this specific community, there is the afterlife is creeping in and dragging them in. So then, under that impression, maybe it is actually lost loved ones.
That's kind of interesting.
But I could be wrong. It could just be stuff trying to tempt them.
Well, I don't think that there's ever. I'm trying to think if I was a dead man, right? If I was a dead guy who died in a drunk driving accident, would I talk to my daughter Erica and be like, "Hey, I want you to come join me into the darkness. Hey, sweetheart, come out here." I don't feel like I'm hey, you should stay. This sucks. You should stay.
That's true, but we also don't know how corrupted you would be.
That's true.
Because it's obviously like a heavenly presence or whatever. So you've become some corrupted, lost soul. Maybe it's their actual souls. Is because if this is like an alien entity or something like that, we know where the soul is. We know that the whole town disappears. So why would they need to like lure kids out of their houses? Because the house and everything else is just going to be like warp drived in a minute anyway.
Mm-hmm. No, I mean the opening, like the fissure opening up of the earth, does have kind of like a mouth of hell, kind of, kind of visual vibe to it. But I think it's interesting too. The helicopter's flying above, and it can't even see the town. It's like almost just totally enveloped in this crack in the sky.
The following morning of August 12, 1952, the situation became dire. Oh, it wasn't?
Yeah.
Previously,
Hey,
like
so
it became dire.
people's spirits are coming in. There's nothing but blackness outside. I think things are getting kind of serious out there.
Hey, yeah, you remember that call we had about that town over with, the looping geometry of the roads,
Yes,
and the kids joining their lost souls in the afterlife, and also people just basically driving into the void as they leave town. Well, that was all fine and dandy, but something happened last night, and now we're starting to show concern.
Well, let's give it a couple more days and we'll just see what happens.
So, anyway, it's like it's on a typewriter because you can't go back and backspace on the typewriter. I mean, you can X out, but then the mistakes get made. This morning, during the middle of the night, all 217 children in the town of Ashland disappeared. A reported 421 phone calls were placed in the Memphis Police Department. Unable to be of any useful assistance, Pace law enforcement instructed all callers to remain inside and to avoid any and all attempts at finding the missing children. Man, well, that's decidedly not good, I think. Imagine that 217 kids just like gone, and you're already in like a weird, like eclipse town or whatever.
You would definitely feel like
It's been night for 3 days.
I would almost just be like, well, they're coming for us next. Like I don't know, like I feel like all hope would. I feel like a lot of hope would be quickly draining from my veins. Like I feel like it would be a lot of acceptance. I feel like after too long.
Yeah, the kids disappear, and you're like, yeah, that tracks.
Yeah, it'd be awesome. It'd be
That's
awesome
alright.
for a couple days, but then you'd be like, it's just kind of a bit weird, huh? That they're all just gone.
At 5:19 p.m. on the evening of August 13th, 1952, Ashley elderly man Scott Luntz reported a growing, distant fire to the south. According to his description, fire seemed to turn the distant black into, quote, bright red and orange, seemed to extend high into the sky, unquote. Throughout the rest of the day, calls continued in, stating that the fire, in addition to moving north, now seemed to, quote, come out of the black sky. No fire was ever witnessed by any of the neighboring communities or law enforcement officials.
Is that trying to insinuate that only he could see it?
No, I think it's saying only people within the town could see it.
Okay, yeah. Oh, in neighboring communities, yeah, okay.
Officials, yeah.
I mean, the more this goes on, the more I think you're right about it being some kind of hell opening up. Yeah.
Yeah. And it's like maybe the children were spared for it. Like hell's descending on the town, like a Sodom and Gomorrah thing almost. But the lost loved ones are coming to take the children out of it before it happens.
It could be. I mean, Erica, I don't think we specifically got how old she was, but she could have been a child, you know?
Yeah. The reports continued until 12:09 a.m. on the morning of August 14th, 1952. The last phone call, placed by Mr. Benjamin Endicott, reported that the fire in the sky had grown so intense that it began to appear as daytime over the town. The phone call ended abruptly. This is from the phone call placed by Benjamin Sherman Endicott.
Just hold on. Yeah, I see something. It's south. Looks like
The next phone call wouldn't be placed until the following. The following is the entire transcript of the final phone calls received by the Hayes Police Department out of the town of Ashland, Kansas. It was at 9:00 p.m. on the evening of August 15th, 1952. This recorded phone call, the officer on duty was Officer Peter Welsh. Callers been identified as Miss April Foster.
Hayes Police Department. Hello? Yes. Yes. Ma'am, who am I speaking with? My name's April. April Foster. Please, sir. Please help me. What's happening, man? Last night he came back. Last night he came back. Ma'am, I'm going to need you to calm down and speak clearly.
a way for me to do that.
Oh, you were doing so good. You were doing so good. You were killing
I
it.
tried.
Oh, that was great.
Oh, fuck, there's
that's
more.
That's screaming about his legs his legs worked or whatever. You were nailing it.
Stay absolutely still. Don't leave. I want you to stay quiet.
Damn. What are they doing to you in there?
What the hell's your boy doing? Hello?
The following morning at 6:55 a.m., law enforcement officials of the Hayes Police Department arrived at the location of Ashley, Kansas. Smoldering, burning fissure in the earth was all that remained. We're going to take a quick break from the show and thank today's sponsor, Manscaped.com, because Manscaped has a new special treat for all of our bald people. That, of course, is the Dome Shaver Pro and the Dome Smoother Aftershave. The Dome Shaver Pro comes with 5 premium rotary blades optimized for head shaving. Designed to give you the cleanest, smooth shave possible, the Shaver Pro features skin-safe technology, meaning that there will be no ifs and or buts about nicks and cuts when you shave. You like that? You like that little limerick? The Dome Shaver is also fully waterproof, meaning you can use it in the shower or at the sink without worry. And on top of that, the Dome Shaver has 90 minutes of battery life and rechargeable, meaning you can get a lot of things out of it and then you simply plug it up and forget about it when you need a recharge. Then after that fantastic shave, you can use a dermatologist tested aftershave that's infused with aloe, Coca-Cola, and oats. The Soother is also alcohol and cruelty-free. So, you know, you're already bald. There's no reason to feel worse about yourself. Not that I feel like I'm better than bald people by any means, because now you have something to show for it. So if you want in on this fantastic head grooming game, then head over to manscaped.com to get your Dome Shaver Pro and Dome Soother today. Use promo code CREEPCAST to get 20% off your order and free shipping. That is 20% off your order and free international shipping. All you have to do is use promo code CREEPCAST at the link in the description at manscaped.com. What's not to love? Thank you all so much for watching the ad. Thank you so much to Manscaped for sponsoring the video. It really does mean the most. Hope you all check them out. Link in the description. And we are now back to the show.
You know, for a story about just like basically hell opening up and the dead walking the earth again, it also kind of seems like, yes, they are. I think once again, I think you predicted that right. I think it is the people, but they're just corrupted.
Yeah, it's like hell. It's like, you know, the soul's the worst parts of them. Condemned to hellfire or whatever. And then they've been burnt and stuff like that. So, there's one belief that's it's not really Christian. Esoteric, spiritual belief. That I think is cool. Is that when you die, it's not that you either go to heaven or hell. It's that the good parts, holy parts, go to heaven, and the wicked, base parts go to hell. So you're effectively separated in half. And then salvation, quote unquote, is which part your consciousness, your thoughts go with.
Sure.
You know, which one is more important.
Yeah.
So it's like everyone that's sent to hell, is that person, but it is the evil, it's the bitterness, the part you want to wash out of them. It's almost like this child that's returned is like this part, the evil that's been burning for a year, you know, like, come to find.
Yeah, or you can just kind of cemetery, like, you just come back wrong. You come back wrong.
The ground's sour. Yeah.
So almost like even if you were a child that like festered in hatred that's probably in every human being has just like boiled and marinated over time. I do think too, as the story goes, I like that it's all from the afterthought, and you get that like one little preamble at the end that gives you just a little peek in, but it doesn't reveal its hand too much. Because I feel like the more you reveal that, the more that I think hell can become very like not scary in a story sense. But I think that the idea of the mystery of hell and things that hell can obviously be horrifying. So I think that it rode that fine line. And it's, you know, the length of it felt fun too. Like it felt like just a nice little, like a nice passing car.
I agree. It lost me a little bit at the ending.
with the
I think
transcript,
kid-
like the call.
Yeah. Well, not the like a transcript's fine, but more specifically, like the mommy, where are you at?
Yeah,
Mom? Like it's
the-
like
the
okay, I
mommy
get it.
stuff,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
Because you can do,
Because it's
you can
like
have,
not only
I think-
not only were you funny,
Yeah.
but also it's like I get it. You know, I know that it's like a demon son
Well,
from
yeah,
hell. I
it's-
don't need it to be like, mommy,
yeah,
where are you?
mommy, I see you. It's like
Yeah,
it's, that was
exactly, yeah.
creepy in
Like,
Pet Cemetery.
standard.
Like then in the 80s, when ever since then,
Right,
I feel like
yeah.
every movie gets one mommy for me before I roll my eyes, because I've never met anyone in my fucking life, even as a child, that's ever said mommy or daddy. Don't like that already. So to me, I'm like, you have like one like, oh mommy, like you're
Hey.
coercing somebody in, because it would have been
Hold on, wait. Hold on, you're not walking over that one. What do you mean you've never heard a child call their mom mommy?
I have never once heard a child say mommy or daddy. Never once.
Okay, have you been around a child? Have you
I
seen the
wouldn't
children?
say a lot. I tried to. My cousins have children, and I tried to. I'm not a big kid person. Like I don't like. You know, like I don't know. People are like, oh, they got a new baby. We gotta go. So I'm not. That's not me. They're like, oh, he's his third grade. I don't care for any of that. To me, I don't even say if I had a child.
Maybe you're just a bad person.
Could be. That very well could be the case. All I know is this: you could more so what I'm trying to get to is that you can say mommy line once and deceptively try to like lure this person over, but then I think it might have been fun to just see that change immediately. So instead of continuously hitting that kind of child trope of like mommy, whatever, I see you, and try to be creepy that way. To me, it would have almost been creepier if they would have dropped the child act and I guess took another tone with it.
Yeah, I think it works, but I think it could have worked better. Again, I think overall it's a good story. I called it from the beginning with like, it's like a hell thing. I think the Sodom and Gomorrah comparison's accurate. Like for whatever reason, this one specific town is facing Judgment Day sooner than everyone else, right? So it's like children are taken away, hellfire's brought down. I think maybe the story would be a bit more interesting if it leaned into that, like what the sins of the town might have been.
Yeah,
I like the
yeah.
idea that the nearby police try to get in and they can't. I like that the ground was like this giant burnt out hole, like the entire thing was purified from
Yeah,
the earth,
salted.
and then the ground just built over it. Yeah, almost like it's like hell itself is like cleansing the earth of its like fissure, and then moves on.
To have a Judgment Day just be to a certain community is fun, because I like the idea of you could just be like, oof, what if that happens to us next? Or like it, I
Yeah.
always enjoy when stories have that, when you kind of, you